I felt that I was going to put him in that situation of like, oh, is that all I am to you? After we built a friendship, she keeps contacting me, she keeps texting me, and it seems like on my end I'm pressed for something that I want. I mean, yeah, I do want it, but I don't want to seem pressed. In a way, I've been ghosted. There's no in a way, I've been ghosted, and that's okay. Welcome back to my 27th episode of I'm Just Sharing with Shonda. I am Shonda. How do I know that this is my 27th episode? Well, today I took the liberty into uploading my videos from Instagram to my TikTok page. My TikTok page is I'm Just Sharing Pod, so just make sure that you follow that page when you get a second. No rush. Or is it? You guys, I am just excited to talk about what I was thinking the other day, and I was just thinking about ghosting. And I know all of us have done it. Reason why I bring up that is because in a way I've been ghosted. There's no in a way, I've been ghosted. And that's okay. In my previous episode, I shared that I've been talking to a friend and we fell off. He fell off. And it's just something that I have to accept. It happens. I've been ghosted. I've done ghosting. So it's not new to me, but it just sucks because there was a moment where I was like, I feel like I should have an explanation on this ghosting. But I sort of kind of already knew why I've been ghosted. I feel like I've scared him off. I feel like I've scared him off. So me and my friend were looking to get intimate. I was looking to get intimate with this person. We made an arrangement, and I feel like I got this arrangement idea from the podcast Lovers and Friends by Shan Boudran. And just saying that, we should put like an end date on something so we're not lingering, we're not questioning anything on what it is. So this arrangement that we put together, I was very excited. So this is just a bit of a text about this arrangement. So I said, I've been thinking about this arrangement a lot. Are you ready to hear what I'm thinking about? Before this, we already built conversation. We had topics. We talked a lot. We built a friendship. So this was just the time where I brought it up. Then he said, I'm listening, haha. I said, sometime in March, I feel like we can end it. If you or I would like to extend it, that we can talk about. So I'm off Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Booty call hours can be Monday night and Tuesday night. LOL, not sure when your days are off, but I'm flexible. Parentheses, depending on the situation, and parentheses. Knowing that it is a 40-minute drive at least twice a month, if you're okay with driving, then I would like for you to be at my place. If we have a hangout time outside the bedroom, that will be cool. We can pay for drink/meals separately if you want to hang out. And after sex, no cuddling is something that I would like to try. And then he said, yeah, that's good. So that was the arrangement that I've had with said friend. And I was excited because I've never felt more... I never felt more solid in what I was saying. I never felt more comfortable. I never felt more just in it. I don't know the word right now, but I'm lost. But I never felt so more in it with him. I felt more confident in what I was saying. Just 10 toes down in what I was saying. I never put myself out there in that way, and I felt very good about it. And he agreed to it. So this arrangement I was looking forward to. Again, in my previous episode, I said, this was like, so that was like months, that arrangement, that text that we agreed on. To now, I want to say it's been probably like 4 or 5 months. and we never had the opportunity to actually get together due to work and weather, and it's just something that I've been missed. Our schedules have been really hectic. When we were very close about getting intimate and maybe that he could have made it, I asked him a question about him being part of my podcast. The topic at hand was just something that was going to be very vulnerable to me, and I think also to him. When I asked him if he would like to be a part of it and just talking about what I wanted to talk about, he said no, of course. He didn't feel comfortable. And like he said that, he's just like, I just don't feel comfortable. And his anxiety like played in it, of just thinking about him being part of something that is going to be on the internet. It's going to be places where he could be found. Now, I said that I don't want him to show his face. I would just like for him to be mic'd up, and it seemed like it was like an interview type of question. I would be asking him questions, and then he would just answer. And then if he wanted to ask me questions, then he can. That was the whole thing, but he didn't feel comfortable. So then after like previous episode, I said that he fell off. I feel like because of my question that I asked him, I feel like that like scared him off in a way. I felt that I was comfortable with asking that question because of this arrangement that we made. It's not something that was gonna keep up. This is like a fleeting moment, a fling that we would have had. Why, in my head, why not try to, knowing that there was an end date, but why not try to understand each other and then also like share what we understand through, or what I understood through him on my platform. Again, my podcast is just to create a safe place where I can talk about anything. I'm just sharing. And I wanted to share my personal story about just how I felt. Nothing too crazy. I don't have to get deep into it. I do have an outline that I try to follow. I would have sent him the outline on what it is. I did ask him if he had any questions or any comments about the arrangement or about, the podcast on what you don't or do want to talk about. But again, he just didn't feel comfortable in it, and that's understandable. So I feel that was the reason why he fell off with me. So when I thought about that, but then not getting an answer on it, because again, I was reaching out to him, him not responding back, and it just seems like I'm on his end, or like what I see like a male end. What I'm thinking about is like, okay, she's pressed for this. She keeps contacting me. She keeps texting me. And it seems like on my end, I'm pressed for something that I want. I mean, yeah, I do want it, but I don't want to seem pressed. And that was like my whole thing. So I just felt like on his end, give me an explanation on like why it's not the same, or if I did make you uncomfortable and, let's just cut it. I felt like I should have an explanation. The other end, I felt that there was no reason for explanation. Maybe this is it. It's because we didn't even get there. And yeah, we're texting, but we're just texting, and you're not a girlfriend. You're just somebody who I was talking to, who I was planning on being intimate with. So that was just the thing right there. I was just like, okay, all right. Yeah, that was that. So that's where I just feel right now with feeling ghosted. So with that, it made me think about when I ghosted somebody, a person who I was intimate with, and we had some moments where we were together, and it was really good. And you know how like when you send a text, that person is always going to respond like, hey, can I come over? They already know what it is. It's just unspoken things that you just know what's going to happen is going to happen. And I feel like that was that with that friend that I was talking to. We built a really good relationship after a weird experience of how we, like our second or third time meeting. I want to say I indulged in something probably like the second or third time that we met, and I had too much of that something. And I wanted to impress him and look good and just be cool. But the way how it ended was me with snot running down my nose, being worried if my friends were like still having a good time, but me all over the place and not being able to function. Not being able to function. I can't really get into that story because it was just so much that night, but it was still a good night. From that place that we started off, it was not a rebuild thing. It was just still somebody that I still trusted. Like, I just had a bad trip and that was all, but it's okay. But me and him built a good, trustful relationship, and there were moments where we did have an opportunity to get together, and then there were moments where that I said no to because I'm just like, we're friends. But the words I never had the words to say, like, it was really a nice time that we had. I really don't want to have, be intimate with you unless I want it. And I know it seems very selfish because it does take a lot for a man to say, like, I just want to fuck without me feeling some type of way, like, a lot of women are going to feel some type of way, like, is that all I am? I felt that I was going to put him in that situation of like, oh, is that all I am to you, after we built a friendship. So it was just, I didn't have the words at the time. So I just didn't say anything and didn't see him at all. So that it was a while before I saw him. And when I saw him, it was at my friend's mixed bachelorette party that we were all together. We didn't really speak, but I did get questioned by the girls that were all there, like, so are you, tonight? And I'm like, no. So then after speed up, time away from each other and into the wedding that my friends Jessica and Trevor were married on, the night after, or that night, we were just all like having a good time and everybody just chilling back at the hotel and having drinks, eating pizza. It was awesome. And then there was a moment where me and my friend walked away and we were just having a conversation, and just talking, and he ended up asking, like, can I come back to your room? And I told him, no, I'm just not feeling it tonight. I don't want to, lead you on. I'm just not interested tonight. I'm just not interested. And until like later on, we were in my room where I was just like feeling horny because I had drinks, and I'm like, mother F. I should have just said yes. Like, I should have said yes. But I was also interested in somebody else that was in the friend group, and he just fell through. He didn't come through. So, ended up sleeping alone, which was fine. I was okay with. But I just thought about the courage to ask, and put yourself in that vulnerable position. In a way, I feel like it's vulnerable to just, can I come back to your room? Type of deal, and then being turned down, and he just ended up going like home. And I knew that it could have been like a different night, but things happen. But from like after that, I wasn't speaking to him, and probably like months later, I ended up like texting him and saying like, yo, not yo, but I'm just like, hey, I'm starting a podcast and I would love to have like some help on sound and making my music. Now, he doesn't make the music that I currently have for my intro. Oh, not intro, for my for my intro. That's not from him, but we were working together on the sound for what I wanted. And when I went over to his house the first time, I was very nervous because of like, haven't seen him in a minute. I don't know. And I felt like, in a way, in my head, I was like, he's going to be expecting something. We haven't talked. I'm asking him to do me a favor. And maybe he wants something. How can I repay him for using his time? Like that was just my thought process. I know it's very words prostitute-ish is like what the word that popped in my head. It was just like, no, Shonda, like when I talked to my friends about it, when I brought this up, it was just like, no, like he wouldn't even think that. But I was like, I know, but it's just my mindset. I'm using him and his studio and his expertise in this for nothing. Like I'm like, well, how can I repay him in a way? Because I really do appreciate him taking his time to do such a thing, and I'm just like, thanks, like it's very weird. So like that's just the way how I felt going into it. So I ended up taking like I think a shot before I went into a house. Like I had like a small shooter just in my bag, and I just ended up taking that, just trying to feel loose. And I saw that he took it very seriously because he didn't have anything. And I'm just like, wow, like I feel like a crappy person because I just didn't know the way how to act. And I was still getting my ideas across and what I wanted and what the sound was, and like picturing this and breaking down what I wanted to hear. And then he ended up doing it like perfect. And it was still something to be worked on right after, but he was like, it was nothing with him. Like he was completely fine, sober, I want to say, while I'm just needing a little bit of a buzz to get through this awkward, quote unquote, if you're seeing on YouTube, awkward situation. Which it wasn't. It really wasn't. It was a friend helping me out, but I just got in my head about it. So, yeah, I ended up going home and just saying like, thank you, I appreciate you so much for this, and everything else. He ended up like editing everything, but I wanted to get back in person just to see if there was something else that we could do. So then I ended up texting him again, another time, different time. I think a couple weeks went by after this, maybe two weeks went by. And then I was like, hey, can I come back over just so we can work on this a little bit more, or something else? I have a different sound in mind. And he was like, yeah, come over. So this time I was okay. But then, he had I want to say a day of work. He probably just had like a little bit of something just to ease his mind. But I saw that he was a little bit laid back. And I was like, dang, now I wish I was laid back. But, I'm cooling it. So we ended up like working up on something, and I just ended up saying my thoughts on like where this could go and what I see in the future, and hopefully this just blows up. Things take time, but I'm very excited on what this is going to lead me. Either or, I'm all down for the journey is what I was saying. And we ended up like, after being in his studio and working on the sound, we ended up like watching a little bit of TV. And he asked if I like wanted to stay over, and I was like, nah, it's like cool. And in that moment, there was just this thing that I felt that I should speak on that thing. I should speak on this. I should talk about it. I should say what it is. But I was also speaking on just about him helping me about the sound of my podcast and what the vision of this podcast. And in my head, I was like, this is now a business relationship. How can I feel that I need to separate this now, even though it's technically been quote unquote separated? Like we haven't really spoken, and now this is what it is. And now I'm asking you for something. And now there's this lingering unspoken thing that should be spoken upon. But I don't think me and him had the words at the time. Or he just probably didn't speak on it. Maybe I'm just in my head. Like maybe he's not even thinking about this. This is where I feel like I recently thought about contacting him about how I felt, about how I feel actually about this certain play that's going on in my head, right? I'll get to that. But before I left, we ended up hugging because I really just wanted to thank him for taking the time and appreciating him. So I gave him a hug, and it just ended up being a little bit longer than expected. And then pulling away from each other, I also felt that he wanted to kiss. And I'm just like, really appreciate you. Thank you so much. But I felt that he wanted to have a kiss. And I don't know. I ended up leaving. But knowing that it was still something, I was like, dang, I should have spoke on this. I should have said what my intentions are and what I feel like. Because I never said to him, like, now I see this as a business thing, and that I feel that, there is some type of payment, but I don't know how to make it feel like I'm paying you through us being intimate. Like, it was just things that are just going on in my head now that just hit me up, because now I want to hit him back up due to not the sound, but also like what I want to talk about on my podcast. I would really like to have a male perspective in a way on this certain topic that is in my head, as a single person, I don't want to feel guilty about what I do with somebody and how I use that. We use each other every time. This sounds very selfish, but I also feel like this would be very good content for people to understand and where I'm coming from and how I feel like with this certain topic that's in mind of how this conversation looks like in somebody's head. Because I feel like the conversation isn't had between two people who are getting intimate for the first time or a couple times that they've been with each other. It's just like, it's just that thing. So I want to reach out to him because there was a comfortability with him, and then there was also somewhat of an understanding in the beginning of our relationship. But I haven't reached out now, So now I'm just a little bit stuck on wanting to reach out, but also wanting to give an explanation on what the lead up was. Again, time has went on. People move on. I don't know where he's at, if he's in a relationship or whatnot. I'm hesitant on reaching out because I never ever want to overstep anybody else's boundaries. I'm getting out of my comfortability with asking questions, because that's all. Not saying that's all I can do, but like also to understand friends. I need to ask the uncomfortable questions so we can have conversations. So now I know how to move. Besides moving in the unknown, I know how to work with you as a friend, as a person. I'm understanding you. So I need to ask these questions. I need to have some type of conversation with you so I can understand. That's just the way how I feel. If you do end up watching this, I'm hesitant on this, but I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be reaching out. Like I'm gonna be reaching out. So yes, that's that. It leads me to say that I feel like I've ghosted with that person, and I feel like I should have gave an explanation so they're just not lingering, like wondering about what happened to Shonda, or if there's times where we are together, if there's still that thing between us, how can I talk about this and how I was feeling before and what I'm feeling now. I really do feel solid in what I need to say, because again, I didn't have the words for this person at the time. I didn't know what to say. I was comfortable around him. I was uncomfortable about what needed to be said around that time. But now I have it. I feel way comfortable and just like, I need to speak to you. I just don't feel comfortable reaching out because, again, I don't know where this person is. I'm going to ask questions that like, so what's up? Is there somebody? Not trying to be all in your business, but I want to share something that is to me necessary. And it just makes me think about, like, I get some comments about me wanting to bring up a topic, not comments, but I get like from my sisters or my friends actually that say it's unnecessary for you to bring that up. But it's just like, I feel that it is. I don't know, it's just my head, but I need to have this conversation with this person so I'm not in my head about all these situations that happen. I like having this platform because I'm not saying I mean, talking alone is a thing, but expressing it to a camera, and then if people feel the same, you can email me about this. Because I'm just very curious if a conversation is too late. Is it too late, if that makes sense? Yeah, so please let me know in the comments or email me. I'm just very curious about that. So that was just my think piece. I'm gonna move on to my random thoughts. I feel like this is gonna be another short one. If you would believe me, I ended up like trying to record at least 5 or 6 times. I just didn't have the word until I got my baby back there. Which leads me into my random thought. It's not ever like when I drink. It seems like when I get home, I just want to have some type of alcohol in me to just relax, or not even feel relaxed, just to have it. And it's not because I had a stressful day. It's just like I really like the buzz, and then I'm in my own place. It just feels good. I bought High Noon, and it's the one that, it's like 6 in the pack. I brought the 2 margarita on the rocks bottles. Love those things. They're like my top favorite now. And I was going through the High Noon, of course, with dinner, but it seems like it was almost every night, maybe every other night. But I'm like, dang, I'm going low on this. And I had my 2 on the rocks bottles that I didn't touch. And then I ended up buying 2 bottles of wine. I ended up drinking 1 bottle of wine with dinner, and that was with a pizza. It was nice. And then I'm like, okay, I need to pop open these margaritas. I didn't need to, but it's just like, I like just the buzz. The buzz feels really good. This is my random thought. I'm like, I haven't had a stressful day, but I like the buzz of alcohol when I come home. Like, it just feels really good. Yes. Now I opened my last bottle of wine. I ended up finishing the 2 on the rocks bottles like probably about like 2 days ago. But my sister was here, okay? And my sister was here. I ended up cooking. I ended up giving her, some. So it just seemed like it went by fast. But the other days I was just all by myself having alcohol to just have it, like just to have it. So yeah, that was my random thought. Do you just like the buzz when you come home? Like, it's not because you had a stressful day. You're just like, I can use a glass of wine right now, or drink a High Noon, or have the on the rocks margarita. If you haven't tried those, I feel like you definitely need to go get out, because they are like popping. Like, I don't know where they came from, but they got all the flavors. They got like jalapeno, they had the margarita, they had the pineapple, pink. I don't know. They got all of them. I was like, really, these are perfect. These are perfect. Yes. That was my random thoughts. I'm moving on to appreciating the little things. I have to appreciate the ice scraper thing that you use for your car. Don't know what it is. I know it's a stick and you use it to get the snow off. Bump snow, I was born in December. Not a winter baby at all. I don't like the cold, okay? The sun rays and the sun, like I said, is on me. I don't like the cold. But when it comes to that stick thing, it definitely comes in handy. I have my car on and let it do its own thing. But when I got that stick and got that snow off, I'm like, what would I do without you? Which I have to lead to another thing. I think this is appreciating 2 things in one, is the car covers, which I feel that nobody uses. And I feel like, yes, they're made to cover the car, but they're also made for that snow when it happens. Because all you have to do is lift up that cover and you don't have to scrape shit. You don't have to scrape anything. Do you understand what I'm saying? The cover really does it, and I'm mad. Like, we haven't had snow for what? Since it seems like since maybe 2016, 2017. I feel like we have not had snow around that time. I don't know. Check the facts for me, guys. But to me, it's been a while since we had snow. And now that the snow had come, I was like, yo, a cover for the car would be super, super easy right now to use. To just lift it up and be like, I don't even got a script. I can just go and just use it for the car. I have to purchase that. Shout out to car covers. Shout out to the stick thing to scrape off the ice and get the snow off of your car. Yes. Thank you guys for listening and tuning in to another episode of I'm Just Sharing with Shonda. Please remember to rate, like, comment, and subscribe on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. Please remember to, if you liked what I said or relate back to anything that I said throughout this talk, please email me at imjustsharingpod@gmail.com. I thank you guys again. I hope that you have a good one, as always. Yes. Goodbye. It really is hard to end things off like this, but yes, goodbye, guys. Bye.